Welcome to In Pursuit of Truth. This is your host, Sir Patrick Mack. Hey, raise your hand if you want to read some Q. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's good enough for me. All right, keep in mind, I read through these first, and I do the analysis after. So if you want to skip straight through that, just click on that little timestamp below, and you will be taken there immediately, free of charge. Okay, 12:23 a.m. Q posts. These right here, these were from yesterday's post. And Q gives us a Twitter link. Busy day. Q. 12:26 a.m. Q adds on to this. Why are many Iranian resistance freedom fighters tagging QAnon on Twitter? Big things coming, folks. Q plus. "30 minutes after the hour of 2 a.m., responding to an Anon who says Jeff Sessions has already caused great damage to Trump and has cost $17 million for the Mueller investigation. I 100% support Sessions, but he ain't done nothing to help Trump. Q says reread 10 times, 50 times, 100 times, slowly and carefully. Stop after each sentence. Analyze. Understand significance. Reread. Continue. Appointment of a second special counsel would fail. Think why. Sealed tight. Race for time. They depend on winning in November to defend, impeach, stop investigations. Their only hope." Then we've got the Breitbart link. Q. Adding on to that at 35 minutes past the hour of 2, Lee S. regarding D-Ops Hussein hacking state voting system. The tip. They must win at all cost. SR 187 discovery. UK SIS. CIA Russia mask hack. Same has China sub wash. Set up. God save us. Q. 42 minutes after the hour of 2. Q adds on to that. What they do not anticipate is POTUS declassifying it all due to optics and ARM MSM foothold on comms to paint political attack plus Russia investigation cover-up /ADV. We are here for a reason. We are here to unite the core. You. Why did POTUS name fake news as our biggest enemy? Use logic. This will be a fight, not through DC, we control, but with public opinion once this jumps. 2 missiles fired with a strategic purpose. 2 extinguished. This is not a game. This is war. This is literally evil knocking. Will you answer? Will you fight? Will you defend? We will. We are. You elected us to take back our country, our world. Enough is enough. Q. 55 minutes past the hour of 2 a.m. We have this excerpt from the Declaration of Independence. "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with a certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Q. 50 minutes after the hour of 10 a.m. POTUS in possession of and reviewing: Number 1, original IG unredacted report. Number 2, modified IG unredacted report, Rod Rowe version. Number 3, modified IG redacted report, Rod Rowe version, both in brackets. IG summary notes regarding obstructions to obtain select info, classified. In brackets, we have number 3, released tomorrow. Then we have SEC, FBI, DOJ handling of HRC email investigation in brackets. Then we have Rod Rowe in double brackets. Who has the sole ability to declassify it all? Did you witness the stage being set today? Nunes, Grassley, Freedom Caucus, push for docs. Rod Rowe in brackets, central figure within docs, personally involved. Known conflict. Immediate impeachment, resignation, termination, recusal if ever brought to light. Be loud, be heard, fight for truth. Q. And at 52 minutes after the hour of 10 a.m., Q gives us this picture titled USSS Protection. And Q says, thank you, USSS Q. Okay, before I begin, let me give a shout out to the POTUS, to the Commander-in-Chief, to the Big Boss, to El Capitan, to El Jefe, one President Donald Trump. Happy 72nd birthday. And of course, since I'm celebrating with you, you know we have to have cake. All right, I showed you a cake in the beginning, but here's a cool cake. Let's eat this one. Ooh, look at that. Who makes cakes like that? Who even thinks to make cakes like that? That's super. Can you eat the clouds? I bet you can. All right. Anyway, so have a bite, dig in, make some room, and let's read some Q posts. All right, starting off here, 23 minutes past the hour of 12. These were the two Q posts that Q posted, then took down, and now Q is posting them again. And if you're following on the qanon.pub, it's post 1474 and 73. And these we were talking about yesterday. Q gives us a Twitter link and says, busy day. And of course, the link takes us here to the POTUS schedule Twitter. Wednesday, 13th of June, 2018, 6:10:32. POTUS motorcade arrival, the White House secure area. Good to be back at the castle. No time for rest and relaxation. We must continue to serve the American people. Okay, well, welcome back to the castle, Q. And of course, those who are new to Q can see that this is simply another Q proof, seeing that the post from June 12th said castle arrival good. So maybe blue metal. Maybe blue metal is the, maybe it's Air Force One. Yeah, it's kind of blue. I guess it's blue and white. I don't know. But the castle arrival is good. There's another Q proof for you for those who are looking for it. Glad to see that Q is safe, POTUS is safe, and it looks like we're having a busy day. Let's move on. 26 minutes past the hour of 12, Q adds on by saying, why are many Iranian resistance freedom fighters tagging QAnon on Twitter? Big things coming, folks. Q+. Wow, so you're here, I'm here, Q's here, Q+ is here. We got cake, and now we've got Iran checking out QAnon. And if they're checking out QAnon on Twitter, it means they're passing. They're hashtagging things. That means they're passing the message around. It's growing over there. And we saw something very, very similar to this not too long ago, really, I guess, with Armenia. Q asked us, why was Armenia searching QAnon? And of course, we know what happened shortly after. They had themselves a little kerfuffle, and then they had almost like this surprise kind of revolution where their president, it was a weird situation. He wasn't supposed to be president anymore, but he got this weird position that was going to make him leader for life. And then all of a sudden he just stepped down and stepped out of the way. And now they're having this ability to be able to kind of talk with Turkey. And it's, it's not a great situation, but it's so much better than it was. And it's very, very exciting for the world, just like we've seen in North Korea. And of course, now QAnon has told us that Iran is next. And yet we haven't quite seen that intense focus on Iran. So this might be some real foreshadowing here. And so very exciting that we've got Iran in the building. Always good to have messages from Q+. Do me a favor, folks. Just scooch over a little bit. Let our Iranian friends have a seat. To our new Iranian friends, welcome, salam, az didanit, koshbaktam. And and hey, there's cake. You can eat the clouds. Let's move on. Next post is at 2:30 a.m. Anon says, Jeff Sessions has already caused great damage to Trump and has cost $17 million for the Mueller investigation. I 100% support Sessions, but he ain't done nothing to help Trump. Q says, read 10 times, 50 times, 100 times, slowly and carefully. Stop after each sentence. Analyze. Understand significance. Reread. Continue. Appointment of a second special counsel would fail. Think why. Sealed tight. Race for time. They depend on winning in November. To defend, impeach, stop investigations, their only hope. And then there's that Breitbart link again. Now, this is really, really important. And this is a great article. We've read through it a couple times before. Normally, I have focused on the end of this article, but I want to take you back to the beginning because there's a couple points I'd like to make. First, about Turley himself. Turley is a law professor at George Washington University who attained national fame during the 1998 impeachment of President Bill Clinton as a top legal authority on special counsels and congressional investigations of government wrongdoing, including criminal wrongdoing. His reputation has only grown during the intervening 20 years as he has weighed in on scandals and investigations of public officials from both political parties. Okay, so Turley knows scandals. And where there's a scandal, there's a Clinton. And Turley was part of the impeachment of Bill Clinton. And God knows, we know there's plenty of scandals on Bill Clinton, and I'm sure Turley does too over these 20 years. So, Turley has been lauding this whole thing the whole time, simply saying that we have a couple choices here. Let me take you to the next section here. Sessions sent a letter to House Judiciary Committee Chairman Bob Goodlatte, House Oversight Committee Chairman Trey Gowdy, and Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley, informing them that Huber is conducting a full-fledged criminal investigation into all the matters Republicans are calling for a special counsel to investigate. Let's let that soak in. Informing them that Huber is conducting a full-fledged criminal investigation, not a full-fledged possible criminal investigation, full-fledged criminal investigation into all the matters Republicans are calling for a special counsel to investigate. Okay, so while Jim No Jacket Jordan is out there pounding his fist on Ingraham saying, let's get this thing going, Mark Meadows is like, yeah, let's do it, dude. That's all outward narrative stuff. And I hate to say it, folks, I said it yesterday too. This is going to be a lot of political posturing until November. If you're in this plan, you are in till November, because that's what it's all about. It's about getting these midterms. And this isn't just so much about Republicans and Democrats. This is getting people in so that full-fledged criminal investigations can finally come to light, be investigated, and prosecuted. Huber has been investigating these possible crimes for 5 months, since November. And this is an old article. So Huber's been investigating this whole time. What has he been investigating? All the matters Republicans are calling for on TV. All that stuff you're seeing on TV is just about a wah, 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 wah. That's all it is. Okay? And it's to fire everybody up. Now, slowly, they're kind of leaking some deals. That's even what, I would say, like if you watch Fox News, okay? And look, I'm not a big fan of the MSM, but at least Fox News is, they kind of understand the game. Now, they can't obviously talk about all the things that we talk about, but you understand what I'm saying, right? So it's getting people fired up. Bit by bit by bit by bit, so that by the time this all goes down, it's timely. Now let's go back to the Q post. Now we're not going to stop after each sentence and analyze. You've got the links, but I think you understand the significance of this. This has been going on the whole time. Appointment of a second special counsel would fail. Yeah, it would. Why? Because we had leakers. Think about all those leakers we had to stop. We don't have everybody dialed in yet. Now, I think for the most part, Washington is under control. The media is not. But a second counsel is just going to be a whole bunch more redactions and a whole bunch of da-da-da. It's going to skip us right past midterms. And if they're able to get enough offices in, they're going to win that race for time. Because they depend on winning in November to defend. And when they defend, they're going to try to impeach. And the impeaching, it would be the only way they could stop investigations. Well, who knows about impeachment? Turley knows about impeachment. So, what's sealed tight? Huber's investigation. While Jim No Jacket Jordan is out there, come on, man, let's get this done. Wah, 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 wah. Getting everybody fired up. Getting more and more people fed up. That's the point. To get people fed up. We're already fed up because we know a deeper part of the story. But you see what I'm saying? But right now, we've got investigations that are sealed tight. And what are they? They're full-fledged criminal investigations. All right, let's move on. Next post coming in at 2:35 a.m. Q adds on Lee S. regarding Democratic ops Hussein hacking state voting system. The tip: they must win at all costs. SR 187 Discovery UK SIS CIA Russian mask hack same as China sub wash setup. God save us. Q. Okay, so the first thing here is this Lee S. And they are talking about this Lee Stranahan. And I'm going to play you his video first, and then I'm going to keep this up during the video. That way you can kind of reference it, and we'll talk about it.
The Democrats were working with the Obama administration, hacking the election systems, reportedly with an anonymous connected group that I showed last night is also connected to a serial bomber named Brett Kimberlin, a felon, a convicted felon. This is who the Obama administration was working with to hack voting systems, in a number of states, including Indiana, Georgia, and Kentucky. Now, there's nothing here that's conjecture. This has all been reported, and it all comes from the mouth of people, but no one's put a couple of things together. So let's go over this. Ready? I reported last night that a woman named Alexandra Chalupa, who is a Democratic operative, she worked in the Clinton administration, and she was working on the Hillary Clinton campaign, had done a Facebook post that I also showed, and it's still live, and you can find a link to it on my Twitter feed, and I'll repost it. But in that Facebook feed, she made a claim which was shocking, which was the Department of Homeland Security and the DOJ were working with an anonymous connected hacking group. Now, just right there, just stop right there. The fact that the Obama administration was working with the DHS and the DOJ with an anonymous, big A, anonymous, connected hacking group is shocking enough. Then I showed that that group is connected to a guy named Brett Kimberlin, who's a serial bomber and Democratic activist. He's a convicted serial bomber who's from Indiana, by the way. Now, the way I reported that was not that this hacking had happened, because I don't know that, but we do now know that. We absolutely know it now for sure. But I reported that her claim was shocking enough. Now, thanks to one of my great followers on Twitter, thank you very much, they posted something that I did not know, which was this hacking has been in fact confirmed. And it's been confirmed by the IT departments of a number of states. As I say, Indiana, Georgia, Kentucky, we don't even know who else possibly. Let's go over that. Computer World reported on this, but so did Richard Pollack at the Daily Caller. And we're hoping to get him on my show tomorrow to discuss this. Let's go over this. A number of states reported that they were hacked by the Department of Homeland Security against their will. They did not want this to happen. That the DHS was doing a number of scans. Now, and they complained about it. And that's what Richard Pollack reported last year, 2017. But let's just stop there for a second. Let's tie all this together real quickly. Let's say the DHS and the DOJ, let's assume for a second that they had a legitimate purpose in doing this hacking. They were doing a law enforcement investigation. Let's assume that. Then let me ask you this. If it's a legitimate law enforcement investigation, why does a Democratic operative working for the Clinton campaign, Alexandra Chalupa, know about it the day after the election? I'm going to ask that question again because I really want you to think about it. If this is a legitimate law enforcement investigation, there is no possible way the DNC should know about it, particularly an operative like Alexandra Chalupa, who has no business knowing about it. Does that make sense? In other words, maybe there's a legitimate law enforcement purposes. Let's just assume that. Why does Alexandra Chalupa know about it and say it publicly the day after the election? That means that, in fact, there was not a legitimate law enforcement purpose. That this was the Obama administration working at the knowledge of a DNC operative, at very least, who reported it publicly, and hacking against the will of the states into the state's election system. Nobody has put this together yet. This is a scandal, and it absolutely confirms, and again, there's no conjecture here. Chalupa says it herself on her Facebook page the day after the election. So we know she's a Democratic operative. We know that she's talking about this hacking. And then months later, it turns out that we know that the hacking happened. Does this make sense to everybody? I'm going to put my glasses on for a second because I want to see, in case I'm saying something that's not clear to people. Any questions on what I'm reporting here? I just want to see, because this is a breaking story and we're going to get more information as we go. But right now, there needs to be an investigation onto why Alexandra Chalupa, a Democratic operative, knew about the DHS hacking before the states did. That was happening against the will. This is huge. Someone's saying it's huge. This is as huge as you can get. This shows that this Ukrainian American, and I've said for a year or so, well, so who do you call? Well, I think that's an activist question. I'm at the journalism phase on this, right? I think the next logical step in reporting this is to find out how many other things. But this is what has to happen. I've already got a call into Tom Fitton over at Judicial Watch. This is a big, big deal, though. So I'm going to end this, and I'm going to post some links related to this. I'm going to pin this at the top of my feed, my Twitter feed, and then I'm going to post a few links in a thread so you can see this for yourself. I'm going to post Alexandra Chalupa's live post on Facebook. No manipulation, it's still live. You're going to see for yourself that she talks about the DHS specifically. Then I'm going to post the story from Computer World. Then I'm going to post the story from the Daily Caller. Those 3 links should help you. Does that make sense? And exactly right, and then blame it on the Russians. That's exactly right. There's a lot more, by the way, there's a lot more to this story, but I'm trying to keep it simple right now. Because just what we have here is a gigantic scandal. Now, again, I'm going to ask you this again. I do independent reporting. I do stuff that's completely factual, completely verified, no conjecture. That's not popular with some people right now. Some people like to keep mysteries going. I don't like mysteries. Just my nature. I'll ask for your support. Your PayPal donations make a lot of the work that we do possible. Okay? But this is a really big scandal, and I want you to get informed, and I want you to be smarter on it. And thanks again to all my followers, especially the person who posted this. God bless you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And let's get the evidence up there, and let's get this story out. Please retweet this puppy. This is a major scandal right now, absolutely proven. And it shows, by the way, when you tie it in to the Ukrainian interference, Alexandra Chalupa is at the heart of the Ukrainian interference. I'll post that story again as well. It's shocking.
All right, so a bit of a long video, but I think it was important to listen to what Lee had to say. Mr. Stranahan doing some good work over there, now showing some connections. Now, we know that the state voting systems have been hacked, and we knew it last time, and we knew it was going to get worse. The attacks were only going to intensify, right? Now, I'd love to know your own personal experiences for those of you who voted, to maybe let us know what your experience was in your home state. But we've had nationwide, state to state, have been talking about, the poor experience and the suspicion of what was going on, saying sometimes their vote wouldn't work, it wouldn't count. These machines are absolutely terrible, and it sounds like now we're realizing that this was just the tip of the iceberg. And of course, they must win at all costs. We just talked about that. If they can't win, they can't impeach, and if they can't impeach, then they're finished. That's it, because eventually it's going to come out. And so they've got to win at all costs, and it's gotten uglier and uglier. And we're seeing it's not just about hacking machines. This is about terrorism. And this is about finding out exactly what was on those servers. And that information that got leaked by Seth Rich, leading to a 187, which for those of you who are new, that is a murder. So uncovering all this is going to eventually we're going to find out about the leaks, how it happened, and the discovery of how Seth Rich was murdered, likely by MS-13, and those connections to not just the Five Eyes, but particularly UK, MI6, SIS, okay, MI6, Christopher Steele, all those meetings about the dossier. All this information has to be on those servers. And the CIA, which no longer has their intelligence, their Russia mask hack by way of this right here, or something like this, probably other things like this too. But this was Marble. You remember this? The WikiLeaks has released the third batch of Vault 7 on CIA hacking techniques. This was back in 2017. Today, March 31st, 2017, WikiLeaks releases Vault 7 Marble 676 source code file, for the CIA's secret anti-forensic Marble framework. Marble is used to hamper forensic investigators and antivirus companies from attributing viruses, trojans, and hacking attacks to the CIA. Marble does this by hiding, obfuscating text fragments used in CIA malware from visual inspection. This is the digital equivalent of a specialized CIA tool to place covers over the English language text on U.S.-produced weapon systems before giving them to insurgents, secretly backed by the CIA. Marble forms part of the CIA's anti-forensics approach and the CIA's core library of malware code. It is designated to allow for flexible and easy-to-use obfuscation, as string obfuscation algorithms, especially those that are unique, are often used to link malware to a specific developer or development shop. Okay, so this is basically just a bunch of nerd talk, okay, about how the CIA was basically using this kind of, it's almost like to look like it's an antivirus kind of thing, but really it is malware, and it was infiltrating more than likely our voter machines and our weapon system, which is probably what led to this China submarine event that we just had. And of course, that allows them to do that, those kinds of things. Look, this kind of, I don't know exactly how it works, but this kind of malware, you can spy on any kind of company, and then you can just blame it on any country you want. You want to blame it on Russia? Go ahead. Because then you can use the same malware to infiltrate their technology as well, too. Set something off. Who knows what went up there in the Pacific Northwest a couple days ago. But it looked like an attack on the president. That's what it looks like to me. And Q is saying that the CIA, again, no longer with the I, Russia mask hack. Same, and I see this H here. I would assume it's same as China sub Washington set up, as in setting up Washington. So it looks like there's an extra H here. So I'm wondering if this is relating Hillary to the China sub attack. And of course, we know that Hillary's linked to the server, Seth Rich, and of course, the DNC hacking. So Lee with some really, really good work, and I will leave his Twitter link down below for you as well too, so you can retweet his video, because I just had to download it to put it on this video. So there you go. But you understand the implications are absolutely huge. God save us. And it looks like we're going to find out some more. All right, let's move on. Now, adding on to the previous one here, Q says, what they do not anticipate is POTUS declassification at all due to optics and ARM, MSM foothold on comms to paint political attack plus Russia investigation cover-up / I'm assuming that's either advance or advantage. Basically what I'm seeing here is that POTUS is playing them by stringing events along and getting things to come out. And also what we saw in this case of this Wolf guy, sometimes giving some information with just a little bit of disinformation to find out who our leakers are. And so we can kind of slowly pluck them and now arrest them. And optics is important. That's why it's dragging on. But we don't want to just waste a bunch of time. We don't want to just send people out barking and saying, we want this declassified information. POTUS is leaking things little bit by little bit. I shouldn't say leaking, but he is. He's kind of letting things go little bit by little bit because it's throwing the deep state off. The deep state's not sure if he's just going to dump it all or if he's just going to kind of let it go. And it's keeping them off balance. And of course, it's a war, so they're also retaliating. But it's due to optics. Optics have to kind of start. If you dump everything, it's too over the top, and most people won't, believe it. But if they can kind of get things sort of warmed up, you kind of prime the pump a little bit, people will start to see it. And this ARM MSM, I don't exactly know the exact term for ARM. If you know, just let me know. But it's essentially we're talking about the people that control the MSM. So whoever the funders are, a lot of times the names we don't know, but the owners of the conglomerates and whatnot, and their relation to the CIA and these alphabet agencies, if you will. Okay, that's the foothold, and that's why President Trump has always talked about the MSM with such disdain, because what Q is really talking about are these people who control the MSM. And they're not going to have the foothold anymore. As a matter of fact, they're tanking and using their comms to paint political attack. Well, it is their comms. That's why they ban us, because social media and mass media, in a lot of ways, is their comms too. They want to cover up this Russia investigation. Of course they do. The more we investigate, the more Lee's going to keep going in that, Lee Stranahan, the more he goes off in that direction, he's going to find more for sure. And they want to cover that up. They've got to make it to the midterms. And Q says, we are here for a reason. We're here to unite the core. Yeah, you and me and you, us guys, us. That means we can't be worried about Twitter posts and conflicting YouTube channels and, this and that. Stick to what you think you know and, trust your instincts, right? Why did POTUS name fake news as our biggest enemy? Well, we just talked about it because that's their comms. That's what they've got. And you can see it's ramping up everywhere you go. We've got Hollywood stars getting just more and more just belligerent. And, it's an amazing time that we live in. These people were long ago were revered heroes. And now we're just watching them just fall apart, dissipate right before our eyes. And that veil's been lifted for all of us. And more and more people are going to see it. Not everybody wants to see that hate rhetoric every day. Nobody wants to be on that side after a while. So who's the real enemy? Well, the fake news is. That's why they're working so hard to keep people like you and I, me and you, from hanging out. Use logic. This will be a fight not through DC. We control. Yeah, we worked on all that. Remember, months and months cleaning out the FBI, the DOJ, right? We talked about all that. They control that. But what they don't have the control right now is of the mass media, the public opinion. That's what's still not really shifted yet. 2 missile fires with a strategic purpose. Yeah, it looked like one was trying to kill the president. The other one we're assuming was fired in Hawaii. And I've gotten some other reports too about some different dates and different firing. I can't make anything of it yet, and I don't want to really report it until I know exactly what's happened. But I've heard some other reports as well. But 2 were extinguished. This is not a game. This is war. Yeah, real deal. That looks like a missile to me, folks. This is literally evil knocking. Yeah, they're willing to completely rob you of your vote. They're willing to rig the machine. And if that doesn't work, they'll blow up the polling station. That's it. That's how they're ready to go. They're ready to hack your car. They're ready to hack your whatever it is, whatever they got to do. They've been ready. This is a plan that they've put in for a long time, and they're ready to go. Will you answer? Will you fight? Will you defend? Well, I'm ready to go. I'm right here. How about you? You here? You here? We here? All right, we're here. We will. We are. You elected us to take back our country, our world. Enough is enough. Q. Now, folks, I don't go into a lot about Q themselves, but for those who are new, I just want you to read this again. You elected us to take back our country, our world. Enough is enough. Yeah, not just our country, it's our world. This is Canada. This is the UK. Okay, this is Iran. This is Armenia. This is France. This is Italy. This is Germany. This is Spain. This is Australia. This is New Zealand. This is everywhere. Okay, if you got a voice, it's time to speak up and be heard. Enough is enough. Let's move on. This next post right here, if you don't know what this is, you better ask somebody. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly, all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Q. Well, these were well-written words, weren't they? And, when we think back, it's hard for us to really understand what the times were then. But, I think about it. And I was speaking to a friend about this the other day. These revolutions, they don't start in good times. They start in dire, dark times. And they don't start right away. People don't just revolt in a week. This takes years of feeling persecuted, years of feeling like your voice hasn't been heard, like you haven't been represented. We all have our dog that's in this hunt, and it's taken a long time. And we had to fight with each other before we could really realize who the real enemy is. And it's our right to do so. And for those of you who follow Q, you probably already understand that Q was never about us picking up and following blindly, Q or President Trump. This was about us learning to do our own research again, learning to speak again, learning to debate again, learning to really understand how we can move forward, whether we agree on things or don't, finding the common ground and taking our country back. And not just our country, but humanity back. And we're seeing it all over the world. Countries are rising up. And if you're listening right now, you're one of them. Simple as that. So grab yourself some cake. Let's get on with the revolution. Next post. 50 minutes past the hour of 10 a.m. POTUS in possession of and reviewing original IG unredacted report. 2, modified IG unredacted report, Rod Rowe version. Number 3, modified IG redacted report, Rod Rowe version. Jesus, Rod Rowe. IG summary notes regarding obstruction to obtain select info classified. All right, so Rod Rowe, not doing his job, is he? Rod, we want the report. We want the whole kit and caboodle. But it looks like we're going to get number 3 released tomorrow. Now, just like I said, it looks like POTUS has a lot more than just number 3, but he's releasing number 3 tomorrow. And it's going to be tweets, and it's going to be retweets, and it's going to be people, debating about whatever the new knowledge is we get. But it won't be everything. And then we have in brackets here, security, FBI, DOJ handling of HRC email investigation, Rod Rowe. So it looks like Rod Rowe could be out the door tomorrow. Or today for you, I guess. Maybe later today. Could be happening now as I'm recording this, to be honest with you. All right. But it looks like that could be the subject of what's going on. The FBI and DOJ's handling of Hillary Rodham Clinton's email investigation. Okay. And we got to get deep into that. And Rod Rowe's going to have to go because he's not providing anything no mo. All right. But we've got these 3 things. We got the unredacted report. We got the unredacted report Rod Rowe version, which obviously if we've got the report and the report Rod Rowe version is different from the report. He's going to have to go. He's got 2 kill boxes. Time to go, Rod Rowe. Who has the sole ability to declassify it all? Well, the President Trump does. I suppose if Sessions wanted to drop the hammer, he could get it. Did you witness the stage being set today? I did not. Did you? But I'm assuming, here we go again, Nunes and Grassley. Same thing, just like we saw yesterday. More guys out there barking for docs. That's what I'm assuming it is. I didn't see it, so I don't want to speak too much about it. I've been busy making this video. But Rod Rowe is a central figure, and we know he's going to have to go sooner or later. Look, we are pulling up to Rod Rowe's bus stop, and he goes running off to Canada at a time like this to go beg for money. He's clearly comped. Rod Rowe is a central figure within docs. He's personally involved. Yeah, we're starting to get the idea that he might have even been on those tarmac calls. Maybe he was listening in. Maybe he called in. I don't know. What did Rod Rowe have to do with the tarmac? But we know that it's a known conflict. And that means that Rod Rowe's going to have to let himself go. He's going to have to. Immediate impeachment, resignation, termination, recusal, if ever brought to light. So it looks like the choice may have to be, Rod Rowe might have to make some choices. Otherwise, he's going to have to deal with some really stiff penalties. Q is saying, be loud, be heard, fight for truth. Yeah, and I'm going to put a little graphic at the end, just a little screenshot that you can take. We need to start posting that. And it sounds to me like Q is asking for us to demand the unredacted report, because we know about all this crap. We don't want to go on like this forever, right? And we know that it's got to lead to the midterms. We get it, but that doesn't mean that we can't keep getting stuff out to the public. We've got to build this sort of we've got to build the optics, right? Like Q has been talking about lately. We've got to start getting those optics out there. So that's what Q is talking about there. Now, last post here, we've got this picture. I think it's right here. Yeah, there it is. I've blown it up as best I can. Now, we got this picture going on, looks like a United Airlines flight. Could be Secret Service. Could they be picking somebody up? Who's landed? Who are they coming to get? They're out on the tarmac. Maybe is this where President is reviewing the documents? Don't know, but we got a couple people here. We got one, looks to be a lady. She's got her nails painted there. She's checking the phone. This is as best as I can get it, guys. I can't get it any bigger. Sorry. That's what it looks like. Okay. And I can't really see. It's so blurry in there. I'm even trying to check the dials to see if I can tell what time it is. What does that look like? Is it 12:35? Is that what it is? 12:35? Can't tell. You tell me what you think. And then it looks like they're showing a screen there. I don't know if that's the doors opening or whatever, but who is coming out those doors? We don't know, but it could be, looks like Secret Service is on their way to pick up somebody. Of course, Q says, thank you, U.S. Secret Service. And we've got U.S. Secret Service protection. So whoever it is, it's a big, big deal. And they're coming in on a flight. And that is all I've got for you today. Sorry I don't have more for you. I am also working today too. So that's all I have for you today. As always, if you like this video, please click like, share, and subscribe. And if you didn't like this video, I guess you don't have to do any of that. Please keep in mind, for those of you who are new, your bell will be unrung, you will be unsubscribed, and you will be unclicked. So if you don't hear from me within 24 to 48 hours, just let me know again, or give a search. In Pursuit of Truth. You will always find me just typing in Pursuit of Truth. Okay, that's all I got for you today. And until next time, stay in touch.
And hey, take some cake with you. I'm not putting that in my fridge.